Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I took a walk down memory lane and thought about my favorite mechanisms in the game Risk. I played Risk a lot when I was younger. As someone who really doesn't gravitate towards games with confrontation and conflict at this point in my life, I played Risk quite a bit, especially in my teens. And I would think about where I was gonna conquer the next game. We would play games of Risk for hours, even though there was player elimination of Risk, and there's the risk of just sitting out for quite some time. And so today, I thought back about the things that I loved about Risk and the things that I still admire about Risk. And I went back and read the most recent rulebook for the game. It's changed a little bit over time. I think the rulebook I read was from 2010, and it had some endgame conditions that were a little bit different from the game of Risk that I remember. The endgame conditions were specific numbers of territories controlled based on the player count. So you didn't have to wipe everyone else off the board, as I think was how we played the game. You just needed to control a certain number of territories either at the end or the beginning of your turn. Regardless of that, I was reminded by reading this rulebook that there are some mechanisms in Risk that I really, really enjoy and admire, even in modern day games. And so I wanted to talk about them today. So I talk about a few aspects of this. One is I want to mention the thing that was my favorite thing to do in Risk, and I think it ties to my favorite mechanism in the game. One of my favorite things to do in Risk, one of the things that the game allowed me to do was turtle. Risk allowed me to pick a few entry points to a certain continent. Often South America was one that I would choose, but sometimes Australia. I would choose a few of those entry points, build up major forces in those countries within that continent, and just focus on them. Just focus on holding those two entry points because there was no other way to enter the continent. And in a lot of modern games, games with this type of conflict or area control, there are many other ways to access. It's very difficult to turtle. But I really liked that feeling of turtling. I really enjoyed that in Risk. And I think that ties to the ability to control continents and gain more units each round based on your control of that continent. So if I control South America at the beginning of my turn, I get, I believe, 2 or 3 extra units for that turn. And so this idea of pushing and holding certain areas to get extra units at the beginning of each turn, I think is great. It has the sense of progression, the sense of income, and the sense of I need this one more thing to get that extra unit because that extra unit could really matter. That one more thing is sometimes control of the continent. Sometimes that extra push is controlling an extra territory. Just controlling one extra territory can make a difference between getting one unit or not getting that extra unit. And the last thing is to win one battle each round. And I think this is really, really clever in Risk. And it encourages players like me who enjoy turtling to go out and push a little bit further out into the map and not just stay back in one continent, but push a little bit out. And try to win a battle, win an attack each round. Because if you win at least one battle, you get a bonus card. I think they're called bonus cards in the game. And those bonus cards can eventually be turned in to get more units. And again, the timing matters there. Do I turn in a card early in the game to get a few units that I can use to conquer another territory or to hold another continent? Or do I hold off until other players have turned in their cards so that I get more units? The more players who have turned in cards, the more units you get when you turn in cards. So I think all these things tie together so well that push to get one more unit and the timing of when you do that, as well as how the game encourages you to attack at least a little bit. Even if you're the type of player like me who likes to turtle, to encourage players like me to attack just a little bit to continue to advance in that other way of the game, to get that one extra unit. I think it all combines into a really interesting experience. I don't even know if I want to say it's a great experience at this point in my gaming career, but I enjoyed playing Risk. I definitely enjoyed playing Risk Legacy a few years ago when that came out. But yeah, I wanted to look back and appreciate what I found interesting about Risk, what I found compelling, and what I think I might still enjoy if I went back and played it today. Maybe I'll have to get it to the table sometime. I don't own a copy, that's why I'm not showing it to you right now. But yeah, those are my favorite elements of Risk. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, especially if you have played a different version of Risk. I have only played Classic Risk and Risk Legacy. I've not played any of the others. So if any of the other versions of Risk have different rules or different mechanisms that you really enjoyed, let me know in the comments below. Thanks.